Good morning. We are Smooth 98.1 FM. You're welcome to Business Express. And I've been joined this morning by the man who walks nearly in every country you see him now. He talks business and he keeps his eye, he follows the money. Good morning, Rotus.
Good morning, Omas. Yeah, I wish I had more money. I wish I made as much money as I followed. That would be nice.
No, Rotus, you can't be in that kind of that was the last summit in Africa for the year. And that's in
Yes.
Lome. And then you are
Yes.
coming. No, please don't give us that excuse, Rotus, from that kind of summit. You must have brought some home right now, man. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Okay, Rotus, your eyes, you still follow money a great. Even you are back home, you're about to follow money right here. So let's get into this one. But let's let the listener know that would at some point get their reaction to the conversation on 0809-444-0981. That's reacting to the discussion this morning. Rotus, first, we understand that the gubernatorial candidate of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, that's Funso Doherty, in the 2023 elections that was held in March, has written a letter dated November 17 to the Lagos state government asking for clarification relating to some procurements. I'd like you to please speak to us because it's gone viral now. What's the latest on this letter?
Yeah, the letter he attacks basically, and anybody who wants to get this information, all you've got to do, let me pull up in the interest of transparency here. You just go to the Lagos PPA, that's the procurement folks, lagosppa.gov.ng, and that should take you to the procurement website where you put out a budget and then you've got line items for spending. You can actually see what it is on a monthly basis has been awarded in terms of registered letters to contractors to carry out certain projects that are part of the spending plans of the state. It's a lot of material. I mean, anybody, again, lagosppa.gov.ng, you basically see files from every month through the year. And each of those files is about anywhere from 10, 15, 20 plus pages. And each page has like 10, 12, 15, 20 line items of spending. So it's a lot of material to go through. So he highlighted certain things in there. And basically, it's the tweet now, I think as of last night, my last check is about 7 million views on basically, what he's itemized on those items. So there's a lot of questions with respect to, what Lagos State is spending its money on, and whether or not this is spending that actually helps the citizens of Lagos State. And, it's kind of similar to what we've seen at the federal level, amounts of money that have been allocated for cars, allocated for different types of projects, consultancy services. It's a lot of money. And when you consider where Lagos State's domestic and foreign debts are, I think as at, June of this year, they're pretty high. So I think Lagos State's domestic debts about 996 billion. Foreign debts as of June is about $1.2 billion. So, essentially, Lagos State has a lot of debts. And basically, it's still, you're the commercial capital of Nigeria. You're bringing in a lot of money in terms of tax revenue. You're the wealthiest state. But the question is the spending. So some of this spending is what has raised eyebrows. I've spent the entire weekend looking at this stuff. It's exhausting, Omas, but okay. I forwarded a few to you that, so that's what's raising eyebrows.
I saw that over the weekend and I said, if Rotus see this, I know there's no way Rotus would not bring this on the table for business. And true, I can almost having worked with you over time, I can almost tell what would this is it. So Rotus, for me, that it was found on the website, because I know the next thing we should be talking about is transparency now on the part of the state government. Now, that the fact they could find it on the website, doesn't it speak about the transparency of the government itself? I'd like you to speak to that. And what's the ranking of Lagos in terms of transparency?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, so it's a good thing that the government has put all this information out there in the interest of transparency so everyone can see it. And it's up to us to, I guess, do the work to go in there and look at line item after line item. Now, telling us that this is the money that you plan to spend is one thing. Giving us further details on further details on the spending is also what we want to get information on. So, I mean, for example, there's a church renovation, right? I think is the St. Anglicans. There's some church. Where is that church? It's about 500 and something million naira that's being spent to renovate this church. And one has to ask, why the states of, here it is. So it's on the Ministry of Home Affairs, renovation of the St. Andrew's Anglican Church, Okepopo in Lagos, 531 million naira being spent there. So they put it out there and fine, we know what it is. In terms of transparency, good, we know, but now the thing is we need further details. Why are you spending this amount of money renovating a church, for example? Then, of course, there's the vehicles. The vehicles have made a lot of news in terms of at the federal level. There's a bulletproof Lexus for about 470 million that's being, there's a registration letter allocated to somebody for the office of the chief of staff. But in terms of transparency, to answer your question, budget has a ranking. I think Lagos State is 14th. They rank Lagos State 14th in terms of state's fiscal transparency for the first half of this year. So top 10 real quick: Jigawa, Ondo, Osun, Oyo, Adamawa, Gombe, Kwara, Kogi, Imo, and Akwa Ibom. That's your top 10. And you're from 11 to 20, Delta, Ekiti, Kano, then Lagos in 14th, and then Niger State, Nasarawa, Borno, Cross River, Kebbi, and Anambra. So it's one. So look, there's an example. Like, for example, I saw a line item. I was just going through it. You would miss it if you don't look at it. But there's a swimming pool in the deputy governor's residence, and they contracted somebody for maintenance of the swimming pool. It's 10 million naira. Is that 10 million per month, or is that 10 million per year? How do you? So those are the kind of little things. Look at the convoy for the governor's motorcade. There's apparently 14 BMW motorcycles that are in his motorcade, and the cost of maintenance for those 14 BMW motorcycles is 36 million naira in a year. That's what I see, but they put that detail there in a year. So someone who is about to do 8 years. So in 8 years, if you multiply 36 million naira times 8, that's 288 million naira to service 14 BMW motorcycles that are part of his motorcade. I mean, there's a whole lot of stuff in this outlays for spending. Another thing is
what about the air fresheners?
This one. Let me give you this one more here. There is the Office of the Chief of Staff, production of presidential and gubernatorial portraits, and that is at 73 million naira. That is almost as much money as the 74 million that was budgeted. I can't remember. Is it LASMA or LASEMA for fuel in, I think, an entire year or month? So there's just a lot there. There's a lot.
Okay, Rotus. Well, anyway, some others, like some items also was found, the rechargeable fans, what you call the air fresheners, and some persons have been asking a lot of questions about really why would that amount to as much as all of that, and then questions being asked.
Air fresheners is 7 million for the governor's office. Then there was supply. The rechargeable fans and other items fell under supplies for the deputy governor's office. That came out to 2 billion naira for supplies. And then there's a lot of other ones. There's daily feeding for a training program that came out to like 30 million for 3,000 civil servants for a 4-week training program, which I think the daily feeding came out to 10,000 naira a day for each of them to feed. I mean, and Lagos State has one of the highest food inflation in the country. So, I mean, it's a lot. So the question now is, I mean, we've extended an invitation. I've extended an invitation to the, Lagos State government for somebody there to come and talk to the public and say, hey, listen, this is what, each of these line items is for. But it does raise a lot. I mean, when from the federal level to state level, it raises a lot of questions about the viability of these spending options, considering where Lagos State's level of debt is, the need to raise more revenues, and also, the fact that there's still a lot of poverty in the land.
Now, since Doherty, Funso Doherty, raised and brought this to the public domain, there's been this talk about this is what an opposition should be doing. This is what you should be doing, keeping government sleeping on its toes. That's what they should be doing. But I'd like you to speak to that, in relation to what we've seen now, and then the ability of people to even read documents, to know that this was in public domain, but it took Funso Doherty to point this out to us. What does this say to the rest of us as a people?
So it says that we have to be more vigilant in terms of going through these docs. But I can understand why somebody wouldn't go through it. It's just such a voluminous amount of info. And again, we have to be vigilant about spending. But this isn't the first time we've brought up spending for states, right? This is something that has been in the public domain for a while. But we've been pushing Lagos states to be more transparent, to put these things forward so that we can dig in. And again, you can, if one wants to really put in the work, you can go back to 2019, 2018, previous years to look at these procurement items and then say, okay, is this justified or not? So it is essential, yes, to have opposition in place that can essentially ask its questions, but then will the state government respond and give us the necessary? So we have to keep that pressure up there.
Now, final one, as we let's get to the final discussion. This one, we'll go to Argentina now. But in going to Argentina about this election that has been concluded, I don't know what your political future is like, Rotus, but I know when I saw this guy, they said he's a leftist economist. Javier Milei is the president-elect of Argentina. And I'm saying, who knows what Rotus is thinking about the next 5 years from now?
Wow, I don't know if politics is in my future or must. It's a dirty game. But Milei is just I brought him up because we're about to see a very interesting experiment in Argentina. Argentina has some very similar issues to Nigeria. The currency is weak. Inflation is high, but inflation is nowhere near them. I mean, they are over 140-something%. He is a radical right-wing economist. He says he wants to dollarize the entire Argentine economy. He wants to scrap. There's a video I sent you that is going viral online where he's looking at the different ministries, departments, and agencies in Argentina, and he's taking their names off a board and saying out. So he goes to Ministry of Transportation, he takes the paper off a board, out. Ministry of Sports, out. Yeah. Ministry of Women Affairs, out. So he's scrapping. He's just saying that there's too much corruption. He says he's going to burn down the central bank. He's going to, but then he doesn't have the necessary parliamentary support. So we have to see whether all his radical ideas, whether they can be implemented because of checks and balances. So he takes office December 10th. We're going to see what something interesting is going to happen in Argentina going forward.
That's looking like a Che Guevara back from the beyond. But let's get to the messages. I've got a Clement British man who says here, a client here, it says, I don't know if it's you or me it says that, well, I saw you last week, Bode Thomas, walking into one of these online outlets, for delivery. I am your fan. That's what he's saying. I love listening to you.
Yes, that is wow. Yes, that's correct. I was in Surulere. Oh my God, I went to buy a charger. Yeah. Wow.
So that's what he has to say. Then finally,
why you have to behave yourself when you're a public figure. Anybody can be watching you.
Yes. The next person comes up. This one, Final Luboroko says, to me, Doherty's petition against the Lagos State government is a good one. However, I know now that Lagos State is doing a lot in terms of transparency. I can bet you that no state in Nigeria that has the kind of spending website that the public can easily see by clicking your browser. Fine Uluboroko left us that one, like we mentioned, so that they put it out there in itself again, speaks about this is what we are doing. Let's go on to the next one. Tayo says, democracy in Argentina like Liberia. Hope it doesn't wreck the economy. Okay, moving on. Then comes with Babatunde Alao with a message here, Rotus. It's very obvious that Nigeria is not broke. Mismanagement of resources is our problem. government waste money on unnecessary items. We shall overcome someday. Batunde Alao. And I'll find Yinka Bulu with a message here. Say, shout out to Funso Doherty for this info. Even though the whole thing has been in the public domain. And like I asked rightly, put it in highlights, how lazy a lot of people are, especially those claiming they want change. Now it's left for the Lagos State government to come and explain itself. However, it ain't the first time. FD stirred the waters and the things have been cleared out. Now, nobody on the street will complain that he or she is new to government contracts, and let's not act surprised. Our final message comes from this person, Kenneth. Kenneth says, could this explain why the government is going around shutting down markets and compelling entrepreneurs to cough out billions of naira before their markets are reopened? And there, it's because the markets are dirty, Lagos State government. Well, it goes on. Rotus, that's the size of business for the morning.
It's a big, interesting kickoff to a new week. Omas, thank you. Thank you, everybody that sent in messages. And if you ever see me in public, please say hi. I'll be happy to say hi back. Thank you so much.
Lunch on Rotus when you say hi to him. All right, Sarah. Thanks to everyone there. My name is Omatseye Atsenuwa. Good morning.